So now there were three rambunctious boys, 6, 4, and 1. Bill, the classic middle child, was struggling for his distinct identity. For Jim and me, it was easy. He was the leader, the nurturing firstborn, and I was the baby, getting all the attention. Our roles were pretty clear. But for Bill, it was more complicated. Bill wanted to go to school, and he wanted it badly. In Muncie, when Jim had left for kindergarten, Bill would run across the street and play with him on the monkey bars during recess. And in Terra, Haute, when Jim had disappeared behind the school doors to attend the first grade, well, Bill, dressed in the same outfit, had run back to his father looking bewildered. Why not me? So January 1948, in Terre Haute, Indiana, mid-semester, 4-year-old Bill was allowed to attend kindergarten 6 months ahead of his age group. He was overjoyed. He even commandeered Jim's woman, Sally, to pose for the immortal moment. It was cold, so mercifully Jim's historic walk was not reenacted. But what about Bill's young age? What about bullies who would push him to the ground and call him a sissy? Well, Jim would be there, and how could they say no? And how could anyone ever guess that this would be one of the defining moments of his life? What was important to Bill that year, 1948, is that he'd pulled it off. He was back together with Jim again, and he was carving out his own distinct identity. He would be the family intellectual, a man ahead of his age group academically. But at what price? Actually, Jim and Bill's IQs would test as close as their August birthdays, both in the high 120s. But Jim, loaded with talent and self-confidence, would graciously allow Bill to advance his role as the brain in the family. When we moved to Indianapolis, Bill would skip a full grade and then graduate from high school in 3 years, making him a college freshman at age 16. We would all be proud. In May, I began my terrible twos, and in the summer, Willa Short, or Mama, as we boys called her, came to visit and lend my mother a hand. And every year there was camp meeting where Dad ruled. Roy and Rosa May knew how to put on a Christmas. Jim and Bill got a Marx electric train, old 999, and I was a killer cowboy. Bang, bang. Roy's publication, The Envoy, sometimes offered up details of our family life. In the winter of 1949, he wrote about taking Rosa May to Florida for a delayed anniversary celebration. While the rest of the world suffered, they came back with tales of alligator farms and warm beaches. Rosa May was rejuvenated, and Roy, who always seemed preoccupied with the politics of the district, sat out on a lawn chair catching up on correspondence and writing his monthly column for The Envoy. Easter in those days was almost as big as Christmas. There were new clothes, some small gift exchanges, crowds at church where they gave away hard candy, and of course, Easter baskets. Preparation began weeks in advance, like Christmas. The anticipation was half the fun. We colored and decorated our eggs with ingenuity, all faithfully recorded on Dad's little 8mm camera. Every summer was camp meeting time at Lake Placid. Tents, music, cattails, which made excellent swords, and the sound of 1,000 bullfrogs late into the night. That year, 1949, we took a family vacation to Niagara Falls. For years after, I would study the slides with fascination and with fear. November 17th, 1949, Kathy Armstrong, Rosa May's only cousin, she had no siblings, married Richard Boggs in Oklahoma City. But within the Wead family, anyway, I stole the show. Kathy chose me as the ring bearer, and I took my assignment with the seriousness of Frodo Baggins. Rosa May made my little silk outfit by hand, but the night of the wedding she was worried sick. What if I lost the ring? Perhaps I should take a fake ring down the aisle. I was too young for such a task. When Kathy decided that it was okay, my mother sternly warned me not to let anyone but Richard touch the ring of power. At the altar in the middle of the ceremony, when Richard's best man reached over to take the ring from my pillow, I pounced with ferocity. I grabbed the poor man's wrist with both hands and bit into his finger with all my strength. His yell stopped the whole ceremony cold. The pleadings of the preacher had no effect. True to my word, only Richard was able to convince me that I could release my grip. And so the ring passed on to its rightful owner, Kathy Armstrong Boggs, who wears it to this day. That moment made me a celebrity for weeks, and while I fully didn't understand why, I took all the attention in stride. So all the Oklahoma women were married now, except Willa J. Short, Rose's mother. Earl Short had disappeared long ago, and no one ever asked why or where he was.